Oh yeah, what's great? What's great with you? Guess I should put some clothes on, huh? When I be seeing folks like that, they be on live, doing their videos with their shirts. I'm like, man, what the fuck? I never trying to see that shit, but it feels comfortable as hell when you do it. Anyway, I hope everything's going well with you. Sending much love, sending high vibes, sending bliss and power your way. Gang is calling on deck. Aunt Bishop. I just wanted to. It's been a while since I chopped it up. It's been a lot going on these past 3, 4 months, man. They've been incredible. They've been incredible, incredible, incredible. Went from very, very unshaky, or went from solid ground, thinking I was stable, thinking I was good, just thinking I was appreciated and cherished, and everything was flowing the way I wanted it to things being adjusted and shifted, and then things going and flowing the way that I want them to. And I think that's an important dynamic to understand in life in general, no matter what age you are. Once you make a decision to start doing something, make a decision to start going a particular way, a certain path, you might have some detours on that path. I mean, chances are going to be very high. It all depends on you and your life path, But you have to be able to maintain the vision of what you are achieving, not what you're trying to achieve, what you're going to achieve. You have to be able to maintain the vision of that despite whatever is going on, because if you can hold the vision, it will materialize for you. It'll materialize for you. And my issue was that I wasn't necessarily holding the vision of the relationship that I was in, but I was holding the vision of the opulence and the prosperity that I now am living in and about to elevate even more in. And because I was stood fast on it, despite what was going on, it made sure that it came into my world. And I mean, now it's like it's exciting to know that I'm about to start I'm reaching these financial goals that I put that I set as bars. In particular, I set some bars last year, and now I hit them this year. And now I'm setting new bars, and I could tell that I might hit them this year. And we only got a few, 20 some days left, but it's still possible. But it's all because I'm making sure that I reinforce the vision. I find a way to conjure the feeling. I use it's just so many tools that can help magnify the vibration and the energy that you are desiring to live in and desiring to experience. And no matter what's going on in your life, you can turn situations to what you need them to be. And that's the beautiful thing about being in this world, being born in this time period, being in this paradigm that we're in. As wild as it is, it's also it also offers a lot of opportunities for people to really begin to grow in whatever ways they want to. Excuse my background back there. Uh, Throw a chain on just cause I like to get my bling, keep my bling rocking. I always got some. This is Amazon night dope necklace that was made for me. Well, that was made and I purchased, but it was made for me because I purchased it, right? And, this is Amazon night. Hmm. If it's not, it'll come to me in a minute. I'm a little tired. I had a heck of a work schedule this past week, and I really wasn't gonna hop on here, but I know it has been a while since I just chopped it up and broke some bread. It's an Aquarian stone, aquamarine. That's what this is, aquamarine on Amazon. Aquamarine. I'm an Aquarius moon. Aquamarine helps with thinking, clear thinking, clear insight, clear communication and expression of various sorts, particularly through the throat, and yeah, it just helps have a more clear mind and have better continuity of thoughts. And then clear quartz it just amplifies and magnifies that, and it's wrapped up in copper, so it just that much more has uh, a higher energetic flow, where all of the stones are linking together. It's my mind that's what's happening as far as the stones linking together because they're in copper. But anyway, it's been a lot of transitions that have taken place in these past 4 months, man. A lot of transitions, and a lot of them weren't expected. A lot of people's worlds have been shaken up in these past 4 months. And I know because I've been speaking to a lot of people. A lot of people, they like to, I'm a great listener, and I also give great advice, or at least people tell me I do. So, and I'm typically open, very empathic, and very caring. So I started to see a lot of different things, and people started coming and talk to me one time. Are you holding mine? People started talking to me about their situations, or I was just seeing them on social media, or I was running into people when I were at the places I was working, or just hearing conversations uh, where I would be at. And it's like, goodness gracious, is this how it is every year? Every year, is our transitions like this? When you go from freaking summer to fall, is that how it is? Because I want to make sure I'm ready next year, and I think that it probably is like that. You know, it probably is like that. Uh, it's like the summer heats things up, and if the bonds of whatever it is that you're building or that you're a part of, if they're not solid whenever summer hits, whenever Leo season hits, then they burn up, and they don't they don't stand the test. They burn up. That the bonds have to be solid. The bonds need to already be the congealment needs to already be had of whatever it is that you're trying to build by the time Leo season July gets here. It seems to me, because by the time it gets here, if it's not solid, if it's not thorough, if it's not a complete bond, Leo season will cause it to break apart, because Leo season seems to be when people start to look at what they want to do, and if you are not in alignment with somebody who sees the vision of what you want to do, and they see the vision of what both of y'all see each other's visions, um, then it will shatter, and it will disintegrate whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that may be taking place. So you just want to make sure that you get your traction going, and that you get your bond, you get clear, you get really locked in about whatever your task is, whatever your mission is, whatever it is you want to do. So that way, by the time Leo season gets there, it can take it to a whole nother stratosphere with that energy, with that power, with that Leo power. And I'm pretty sure this is the second time I kind of noticed this. Matter of fact, it is, because I mentioned it this year in Leo season. So these are just important things to understand about life, because you are being affected by these energetic patterns, whether you realize it or not. Now, you can minimize the effects of these energetic patterns by having a very strong will and reinforcing your will with different tools of various sorts. Not just leave it at that. It's various things you can use to just to like props, like using different sorts of props, we'll say, to help you magnetize and continue to move forward, and drive forward in whatever it is that you're building. So I thought that was just interesting clarity, just to get more clear on that it's cycles, and it's not just about the seeds and things that are being done out there, because we're part of nature. So even though we feel like we're beyond the cycles of nature, we kind of are like still immersed in them. You know what I mean? Everything that's outside of us is inside of us. So we're being affected by these different cycles. So, and the relationships are also being affected by these different cycles as well. And so you can kind of follow these during the season. So I feel like right now is a time where the passion is being relit. The passion is being relit, because in July and Leo season, the passion was for self and whatever it is you wanted to do. And Sagittarius is kind of like that too, but it's also very much a it's very much a vibe of like camaraderie, a vibe of team. To me, that's how I feel. Sagittarius is more of a vibe of team. Like you have great ability to interact and connect with people. Sag energy is like that. So since we're going into another fire, but this is built more on connecting. I think a lot of connections are going to come back into play, and you're going to get the opportunity to make decisions on those connections, on whether you want to continue try to pick up where you left off at and see what you have, or you want to let it go completely and start a new cycle. Um, you know, late winter. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting, just these different dynamics and these variables that I'm just noticing, taking into account. Um, Man, this past relationship was really tough. It was a great relationship. Uh, it was tough to get over, I should say, tough to let go of. No, I haven't had that problem before. Um, I had relationships that were hard to get over, but they weren't hard to let go, they weren't hard to let go of. You know, excuse me. They weren't hard to let go of. It was like shit. I needed to go my own way on that, and still had to recover and recuperate from that relationship, from those relationships. But they weren't hard to let go of. This one was hard to let go of, and to move forward from, I should say. And I say that because I was attempting to move forward with other women, and I still found myself in kind of reflecting, you know what I mean, or worrying, you know, oh man, is she gonna do the same thing that my last chick did? You know what I mean? Like it was like, what in the world? God dang, this is unbelievable. But at the same time, it lets you know how you know that you really did care. You really did care about somebody, and it wasn't just emotions. And it also just lets you know that you need more time to uh, you need more time and understanding, and hopefully who you're with is understanding too, and that will let you know who they are. If they really, if they help you, if they have the ability to help you heal from your past heartbreak, like that's love, that's care, that's really love and that's care, you know. So I'm excited about the new relationships that have been entering my world, friendships, associations, accountability groups, business partners, um, just different insights and connections with even deities. You know, it's like it's been incredible. And spiritual mentors. These past 4 months have been really rejuvenating and rekindling to my spirit. Even just talking about it, it's getting me excited. Sometimes you don't always you can't always see the full picture of how far you've come until you start referencing it, you know, in communication with people or just in introspection with yourself. It's kind of hard to see sometimes, like the depths that you've gone in reconstructing yourself or just healing and rejuvenating yourself. You know, I found that's a big issue with a lot of men is that they don't know how to heal themselves. They don't know how to rejuvenate themselves. So when they go through certain funks and certain situations with, especially with like family and with the heart, it's like once they go through that, they don't know how to regenerate the heart to go back to become a better version of who they were. They become somebody else, essentially a victim. You know, if you were affected by something and you don't overcome that thing that affected you, you are a victim. It's one of the two, victim or victor in that situation. Like you have to find a way to heal and rejuvenate and recalibrate yourself to be a better version of who you were before that situation happened. Otherwise, you are a victim of that situation. And I know a lot of men and women, when they go through those situations of the heart, it's hard for them to recover. I've broken bread with a lot of older men because I like to listen to older, talk to people who are more experienced and seasoned than I am, so I can try to minimize my undesirable, you know, non-ideal events and circumstances. So I talk and I listen, and I can hear a lot of the pain in their voices, or I can hear a lot of the pain in their unresolved traumas, you know. And I just always stay mindful of that, and I naturally ended up just becoming a healers. It wasn't anything that was, you know, evoked from them, those stories and those people. You know, it was just like I want to know how to heal. You know, I think that's an important aspect if you want to serve people, spirits in their soul. It shouldn't just be talk and chatter, which is great, and it goes a long way, and it could do a lot of healing good as well. But I also wanted to just be able to like know how to heal myself, know how to heal others and know how to heal myself. Once I learned that, I became a Reiki master, and I'm a Reiki master teacher. But now it just it makes it easier for me to 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 know these different sources of energy that I can use to recalibrate, essentially. So that's a really big deal that I hope becomes more known, becomes more relevant in society. The heartbreak of men and women and how to really recalibrate that. But in particular, men, I'm saying this because when a family splits apart, typically you have, one side, and especially if they have children, you have the mothers usually with the children and the fathers with nobody. You know what I mean? Like the father's with himself, or if he left her, obviously, then he's going to be with somebody else, or well, not if he left her, but if he left her for somebody, if he left that family for somebody else, which he really didn't leave the family. Usually, in a man's mind, he's leaving the woman. He's not leaving the family, even though it is him leaving the family. And even to reconnect with the kids, you kind of reconnect with the woman. So it's a very interesting situation, and it takes the most mature woman to be able to handle it. Like it takes the most mature woman to handle that situation efficiently, so that way, if family splits apart, uh, that father still has access and still feels welcome in the children's lives, even if she's in another relationship. It takes a really powerful, extraordinary, secure, and it's an exceptional communicator to be able to do that. And but they are out here, and it's beautiful to see. Um, but I think that's something that needs to become more relevant because the man doesn't have anything typically to go to. So he needs to find a craft, needs to find a skill of some sort to start to dig into if he has that situation. Because if he doesn't, it's hard for him not to be tarnished and mad and in a state that you don't want to be in, resource wise. Because you'll be wrapped up in the whole emotional turmoil of that situation and not able to really focus and move forward and begin to elevate yourself and rebuild your inner world and your outer world how you want to. You will just stay in that cycle of blame and victim, blame and victim, blame and victim. This is how I feel anyway. That's my perspective, and I'll probably rename this video since I'm talking about that sort of thing. Men need to heal. Heartbreak healing is paramount. Like heartbreak healing is paramount. It can't be stressed enough, especially men. Especially men. That is it's it's just so many of them. Women have children, and I've seen women damn near become like the mate with their child. Like their relationship is so close. They're taking so many uh, uh, pictures, and they're just so immersed in that child's life, especially if they have a male child. It's like they replace that man with that child. It's for as much as they can. But a man usually is by himself, and he may be able to visit or is visited, but he doesn't have anybody typically to reconnect with and fill those emotional voids. And because he's a man, he might not know it, or might not want to speak about it. So then he might start just doing things to try to fill the emotional void rather than actually heal the emotional void. Whereas a woman, a mother, she typically can because she has those children, and the child will help heal the emotional void, you know. So it's just a dynamic that I've noticed as I observed what's going on, because I went through a situation before, where I was out, like traveling. I was out and was attempting to build with a queen, and then it fell apart how it did, and I was distraught. Like I kept trying to push, kept trying to push. I linked up with another chick, other chicks, but it was still like such a it was my pride was hurt, pride, ego was hurt, and my heart was hurt, so it was really tough to be able to sustain my strength by myself, and I just started making all sorts of stupid decisions, based off of just being heartbroken and emotionally voided, emotionally spent. And but now I'm more familiar with ways of recharging and regenerating on my own. And so it's not, it still sucks, of course, to have to go through any sort of separation when you feel like you're building something, you have a family. But um, I know I can recharge a lot better than a lot of other men, and not be, and still be me. You know what I mean? More mindful, and yeah, more mindful, but also it's not allowing that to just take away my joy and my excitement and the um, the wonder of what this woman is going to bring to my world, the excitement of that, not just assuming that she's going to bring some bullshit. You know, it's a very fine line there. So anyway, I wanted to talk about some more stuff, but I'll just leave it right there. Just want to talk about uh, people being able to overcome heartbreak and the dynamics of heartbreak between men and women, and how hopefully we as men begin to find better ways to really heal and cope with relationship transitions, so that way we can continue to be healers and leaders and caregivers, and caretakers. It feels like a caretaker should be called a caregiver. As I'm thinking about it now, you talk about a caretaker, usually somebody who's taking care of somebody, but they're giving care. You know what I mean? Caregiver, you don't even hear that word, but that's what the caretakers are doing. That's interesting. Just thought about that. Anyway, uh, yeah, that's something that needs to be um, addressed and really moved on. Like it needs to become a sort of movement. Men healing heartbreak. Men healing heartbreak, because men are there's a men go their own way movement, but that's, to me, that's counterproductive. It's like, well, what do you mean go your own way? Like, where are you going? Like, what are you about to do with our women? Like, what are you about to do? I don't want to be where that is. Like, wherever the fuck that's at can be far away from me. I want to be where all the women are, preferably one of the few men there. No, I'm just playing, but um, yeah, I don't want to go my own way with other men. I don't want to be there. That's not even an environment. I don't think even smell too grand. But be that as it may, do whatever you want to do, but understand why you're doing it. Understand why you're doing it, and be mindful of what the potential outcomes of that are long term, not just in reaction space, but long term. What will me going my own way do? Will I accomplish my goals? Yeah, and that's good. You want that. And then what? What? And then what? If you want to go your own way to accomplish your goals, that's ideal. That's perfect. That's something I actually mentioned earlier. Having that focus. But if you want to go on your own way because you are mad about how women are acting, that's foolishness. That's foolishness, because not every woman is acting like that. Not every woman is the same. So you're gonna put all women in a category, in a box, and then push the box aside. That's foolishness. That's men being emotional in a toxic way. To me, that's how I feel, and that's a big thing. That's that needs to be recalibrated. It's just emotional poison in the water hole that you're drinking out of. You know what I mean? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And you're drinking out of the water hole of society. So don't poison society um, by spewing trauma and spewing a victim mentality out here, especially amongst men. There's already too many over emotional, extremely feminized men. It's a lot of them, and it's not enough men who are balanced. It's like you have one, you go from one damn extreme to the next. But there are more, there is an emergence of a supreme man who is balanced, or is balancing themselves out, who is aware of their imbalance, and then are working on balancing themselves out, as well as the supreme woman who is starting to do this as well. And that's a blessing. If you can be a supreme man and find a supreme woman, or be a supreme woman and find a supreme man. And these are terms that I am using to identify people that are balanced in their energies. You're talking about something extraordinary, an extraordinary feat, an extraordinary experience, an adventure that's waiting for you. And I like seeing I love seeing these relationships form, and I love seeing them sustain, and I love seeing them grow. So anyway, let's heal, men. Let's heal our hearts. Let's heal our minds. Let's balance our minds, our brains, balance our hemispheres. Be mindful of the past, but don't make your future the past. Don't regurgitate the past in your present and future. It doesn't make sense, and it takes a very mindful and a very it takes a very strong will to be able to do that, because your body can become addicted to emotional situations. It can become addicted to emotions, and it is addicted to emotions. I should say that your body is addicted to emotions. What type of emotions depends on what you've been feeding your body, spiritually and physically. But it is addicted to something, and it's up to you to go on those particular fasts, reformulate, recalibrate, and recreate who you are. Recreate your identity if that's what you need to do to become a greater version of yourself, and not to become a victim of transition, a victim of change. Don't be a victim of change, because it's not anything ending per se, like it's your love life is over, or whatever the case may be is over. We're talking about love relationships here, but it's a transition into something greater, something better for you. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. Because sometimes we choose wrong in the very beginning, and then we're surprised when things don't ideally line up. It's like that wasn't ideal alignment to begin with. It was a lesson, and that's okay. Sometimes the lessons feel like alignments, but in hindsight being 2020, 2120, hindsight being 2020, reflect on that and reflect on what you received and reflect on what you were given, and really analyze it unbiasedly. Were you giving what needed to be given to make the relationship successful? Were you receiving what you needed to receive to make the relationship successful? What are some of the situations that happen? And when you review those, you get an idea on whether somebody was a lesson. I mean, somebody's always a lesson, but whether it was something that you can uh, excitedly maybe regenerate, or maybe it's a lesson that you need to take the gems from it and throw away the waste, and then move forward with those gems, and bring those treasures into the next relationship where they will be appreciated, because you've learned now better on how to identify what you desire, and what you're expecting, and how to place, how to create your own personal boundaries too. That was something that I really had to start learning about and working on, is creating my own boundaries, my own uh, uh, just measures of operation, measures of my own time experience of me not allowing to be jeopardized, jeopardized by anybody, in particular by someone that I love and care about, because then I'm not caring about me and what my goals are. You know what I mean? And that's important to identify. And it's such a subtle fine line there that you have to be mindful about what your goals are and what your vision is, and making sure that you choose somebody who can align with those visions, and that it can align with their visions. And people change, people adjust, and maybe don't won't work at first, but then they may come around later on and be able to see your vision better. You never know. But the main thing is just trying to choose in the best time, the best way, the first time. You know what I mean? Make the first choice the best choice. You know what I mean? And so you want to use those clues uh, that you are aware of, and do that. So anyway, it's about to be 30 minutes now. I feel like I've ran my mouth enough, but that's 30 minutes. That's 30 good minutes of me expressing healing from emotional traumas. In particular, for men is paramount, but certainly for women too. Um, But I love you. I appreciate you. I cherish you all. James Quan, Aunt Bishop signing off, and I'll talk to you soon. Bliss and Power. Commit to the grit. Commit to the great. Show no.